with AT&T, and I'm so excited to be able to talk to you today about data science in telecom. There's so much data that we gather today within the telecommunications industry, and we can use that to help our customers build our better products and services, and all around bring together that 360-degree view of product, corporation, consumer, and service. So here on the screen here, my very favorite slide in this whole presentation is this first slide, and it actually comes from ZTE Soft, and it shows telecom, of course, near and dear to me, my heart. I've been in telecom now for over 30 years, and it shows how we take our engineers and our analysts, the rich data source that we have available to us, and then we bring that all together for service and sales, build better data around sales, information around sales, customer experience, precise marketing, and pull that all together to basically build out this rich environment that we're able to use to better help our customers and ourselves stay in business. So, with that said, I'm going to jump right in. I know we only have 20 minutes, so I want to ensure that I get through my slides here. So, let's talk about machine learning and data science. So, machine learning is the science and art of programming computers so they can learn from data. And then data science is the science for which computer science, statistics, and machine learning are pulled together for visualization and human computer interactions to collect, clean, integrate, analyze, visualize, and interact with the data to create data and products. So data products, services, any of that any of that good stuff that we are as organizations need to sell our products and services. So how does that work? Data. So data is the new oil. We've seen this in a plethora of places across industries today, but this was a cool diagram that the World Economic Forum produced back in 2011. So this was 11 years ago, and they were talking about data is the new oil. And you can see all the ways that data has been building and building over time. And we know we have so much data. Every single thing we do today produces data. If we go to the grocery store, we scan our little tags, that creates data. You go to the gas station, that creates data. Everything that we do. And of course, in telecom, when you use your cell phone, when you use your Wi-Fi, any of that stuff that you do every single day creates data. And it is a huge amount. So when I say huge amount, I'm talking about big data. So the volume. So looking at the volume of the data that we have today, the changes over time in that data. So the changes in usage show up in that data. So the different kinds of data. I already mentioned the grocery store data, the gas station data, and then of course, near and dear to all of our hearts in telecom, all of that data around our products and services that we have in telecommunications. So the quality of that data, that's the veracity, and then the information for decision making or the value of that data. So those are our 5 V's around big data. And I skipped over this, but I know that most of us that are joining into this conference understand that big data is just that large amount of data sets that we now have available to us. And so this is just an exciting time for us. I always tell my students, these are the best of times, these are the worst of times. So there's just, you can flip everything around whichever way you want to, but we have just a great opportunity today for us to have the amount of data that we need, the processing and computer speed that we need, the analysts, the data scientists that we need to bring everything together full circle and start working out and building out what we can understand about our consumers, our products, and our services just through looking at that data and massaging that data to build out these insights. So there are multiple ways of looking at our data, and we have seen this growth over time of how data is being used. In the past, we used it for hindsight and reporting. You remember those dashboards and alerts that we all remember, or those weekly, monthly reports that we've all gotten over time. And then we built out dashboards. We built out OLAP cubes. We built out data mining opportunities to build out insights. But where we're really trying to get to is that foresight, that predictability, being able to predict what our customers and our products, their life cycle around our products, and then how our customers will use and accept those products. That's what we're looking for today. So, what does that mean in telecommunications? So, in the telecom industry, what that means is we have to look at three areas: the customer, our services, and our resources. And that allows us to pull data together from those different areas and build out information around infrastructure and products and our operations. And the kinds of things that we can focus on in those areas, product recommendation. You've seen this with Amazon. They're like the kings and queens of building out product recommendation engines. Data monetization, being able to take data that we have and then sell it with our customers' permission, of course, to other organizations that might be able to leverage that data and provide better products and services. Planning around our networks, that is, for telecom, that's it, right? Our network. How do we plan for capacity, build where to build next for our networks? And then on the operations side, we want to understand, hey, where are our customers in this life cycle of their life with us as AT&T or whatever telecom, or honestly, whatever organization you're with. So churn analysis and prediction, proactive customer care. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but understanding where our customers are right now, how they're feeling about their products and services, what they need from us, being proactive and being able to provide services to our customers before there's some catastrophic issue. Fraud management. How do we stay in business? How do we make sure that our resources are being used properly and that we can continue to stay in business as an organization? And that includes optimization of how we do business, order processing, for example. And then fault management and root cause analysis. Of course, that is that fault management, understanding in telecom where things are going wrong, doing root cause analysis and being able to preemptively, hopefully, attack those issues before they become a problem for our customers or impact our service. So those are two areas that we focus on mostly within telecommunications when we look at data, big data, and how we can manage it and leverage it. So infrastructure and products, and then operations as well. And you can feel free to post questions in the chat. I am actually trying to monitor that as well. So if you have questions, please feel free, post those in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer them. So jumping to the next slide. So let's look at some of those use cases and challenges that we can focus on within telecommunications with our data. So customer loyalty, acquisition, and retention, big deal. So customer churn analysis, sentiment analysis, clickstream, that digital analysis, targeted marketing. So focusing on specific customers for specific products and letting them know that we're here for them and that we have something that they can leverage. And then recommendations. I mentioned earlier about Amazon and the recommendation engines that they use. We can use those, and I'm going to show you an example of how we can use that mentality in a use case later on in this presentation. And then optimized plans. So I mentioned earlier our network build outs. Optimizing how we build out, where we build out, what that timing structure looks like is very important as well. So data-driven improvements of network services. So network performance. So in telecom, that's our lifeblood, making sure that people can make that call, can get on their internet, can do the things that they need to do with their devices. That is important. So building out the data so that we can improve their ability to do that. And that's, of course, around capacity and optimization. So demand forecasting. Where is the demand for our products and services? Where's the demand for our network? So where's the best place for us to have our latest build outs? And then failure prediction. So being able to ensure that we don't fail in providing that service to our customers. And then we can tailor our services for new features, build out proactive care, optimize plans. I think that's mentioned multiple times here. And then GIS location data monetization. Um, I don't know. I know some organizations where that's a big deal. I've not worked, the multiple telecoms that I've worked on have really not looked into monetization of data specific to location. But there are some great use cases for that. For example, using data to help you understand customers passing my store. What kind of ad can I send directly to their cell phone or their devices right now to let them know, hey, we've got a new device that you might be interested in. We've got a special sale going on. So there's some of that sort of thing that I've heard about in the past. Not heard a lot about folks actually implementing those, but definitely have seen some pilots on that. And then jumping over into security, fraud detection and prevention. These are all, if we're going to stay in business, we've got to not lose money. So building out anomaly detection, false answer and long call detection, unauthorized devices, payment processing, data protection and compliance, which of course that is important to us, making sure that our customers understand that when they use our products and services, that their data, their information is secure. So those are all important things there. This is the data science development life cycle. I plucked this from Understanding a Data Science Life Cycle document. Please go out and take a look at that document. It was a great document. I love reading what other people have pulled together around these things. But I love this particular diagram because I like the fact that it's very simple. It's very clean. It shows very simply how we manufacture and utilize data to build out insights. And the fact that it's a circle lets us know that it's never ending. So you have to have that business understanding. Do the data mining, do the data cleaning bits. We all know data is dirty. So clean up your data and then explore that data a bit. And then feature engineering is so important. I'll talk again about that in a moment. But feature engineering is important because you need to understand which pieces of data are important and which ones are not necessarily unimportant, but not necessary for what you're trying to accomplish. And then build out those models and then visualize it and do that thing all over again. That's what that life cycle looks like. So here's some key gotchas though. One of the things that I really push within my organization is there are people beyond the numbers. So yes, you can build all these data insights out, but remember that there are real people behind those numbers, and that means that they have free will. So as much as my model may say that everybody is going to do this, I have to use some intuition and understanding of the business to help me really, vet these numbers. So like I mentioned earlier in the feature engineering, there's lots of variables to consider. Consider your variables, get to the right variables, and apply that domain knowledge. That's how you're going to understand what's real, what's not necessary for your goal and what you're trying to accomplish. And then remember, you can predict things, but is there really a way to solve for that prediction? Or is that a prediction that it's good to know and good to understand, but you may have to move on to something else? So don't get stuck in your predictions because, like I said, there are people behind those numbers. There's people behind those models. Ask the right questions up front, and this is very important. This goes back to our dirty data issue. If you want to have good models, if you need to build out good data solutions, you have to have good data. And that means building that data in the right way. So ask the right questions up front. That means when you're building out your new apps and when you're implementing products, make sure you're capturing the right data so that you can have that data so that you can then build out the information that you need. And then fifth, create a collaborative environment to leverage 1 through 4. That collaborative environment, it doesn't matter how many models you build if nobody's using them, if they don't solve real world business solutions so that your business teams can use those models effectively. So you have to have a collaborative environment where the people building the data models work with the business who would use those models, and there has to be a synergy there. So that's very, very important. I'm going to pause right now and just take a look to see if there are any questions. So, can you provide example of how AT&T is moving forward towards a more Amazon-like experience? Oh my gosh, this is a great question. So, I'm going to pause here and I'm going to answer this question. So, you're talking about, for the most part, our digital space. Now, I will admit, that is not my big focus. We have a whole digital organization at AT&T that focuses on working with the customer through the digital platforms. But I have done, as recently as a couple of months ago, a big project with the digital team, wherein what we were working on building out a survey to bring in information to help us more clearly understand how our customers want to interact with us via the digital platform and any other platform that we have. So a lot of companies really, for economic reasons or and efficiency's sake, they want customers to use their digital platforms. And Amazon is the big, they are the end all be all on, hey, how do you make that happen? And then you can also build in our folks that like our TikTok folks, our Facebook folks, and those folks that have social media platforms, because they have really written the book on how to get people to interact, right? And that's what that's about. How do you get your consumers to interact with your platform digitally, and then build out a way to really focus in their efforts, their needs there, so that it's more efficient for them and cost less for the organization. So we are starting to build out more ways to work with our customers digitally. But a lot of that is in the, I won't say infancy stages, because we've been working on it for multiple years. But what I will say is that we have a ways to go. But we do have some really good virtual assistant products that have been implemented, especially since COVID. We have our curbside assistants that we implemented as of COVID, and I was part of those projects as well. So lots of great ways that we're trying to really build in that digital experience for our customers. Our returns process is one thing that comes to mind on specifically where we've really focused a lot of time on building out a digital experience. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, so some real world telecommunications models. Some of the ones that I'm familiar with: voice and data wireless network quality overall at home. Everybody in telecom, what do they want? They don't want just your mobile anymore. They want to understand how we can also come into your home, because as we probably have heard, we want the full house. We want all we want you to buy our iPads and use our service that way. We want your cell phone devices. We want your wireless. We want your any kind of way, your internet. We want everything if we can have it. So that is really how we want to make sure that we are focused on the consumer as a whole. Voice, data, price, and care importance. Everybody wants that, right? We want to understand where our customers are price sensitive and focus on that. Customer care, not hard to understand there. Always want to manage customer care. Willingness to recommend. How can I build out more goodwill through my customers so that they will then recommend my products and services? Voluntary wireless churn, port outs. How do we lose customers? How do we gain customers? Who are our early tech adopters? Who are those people who are like, I don't care how flaky it is, if it's brand spanking new, I want it. And we do have those people. They're more than willing to be the guinea pigs. I mentioned, I just, when I answered that question off of the chat, it was really around this whole channel preference thing. We would love for our customers to really focus on digital, but we have customers who also want to come into our store. They want to call us, they want to chat, and we want to be able to service them. I always laugh because I'm one of those people that I will go on the web and research anything, but when I finally decide to buy something, I want to come into the store. I want to see it. If I'm going to pay $1,000 for a phone, I want to hold it in my hand before I purchase it. But that's just me. There are people who are totally different from that. So vulnerable calls, care calls, those are calls where you know that there's a problem. It may be that it's a problem that they've had for multiple iterations. And how do we manage that? How do we help them? Or, in all honesty, like I mentioned before, sometimes there's no solution or not a solution that the customer is happy with. So how do you manage that? And then broadband things, and then again, early tech adopter for broadband. All right. So I mentioned we have, oops, I'm pretty much out of time. So my presentation, as you know, this is being recorded. So my presentation will be available. It's a 20-minute presentation, goes by really, really quickly. But hopefully you got some good stuff out of it. Hope you enjoy the Data Innovators Conference. And my information was on the initial slide. So please feel free to reach out. I'm on LinkedIn, Frances Boykin. Thank you.